Hello, everyone. I hope everybody had a good weekend. It's been an interesting week last week. So I just want to quickly get into the weekly overview, what we're expecting in the current week. This is the week of the 26th of June. Let's see what the week holds. So we ended the week with a strong bearish move towards the downside, filling the wick of the previous weekly, going down, currently closing below that range there, 1920. Well, we haven't closed below 1920, 1923. Currently trying to make an effort to break below. That is our expected target, is for price to push further down. However, we can expect a small push up before market continues to move down. Now, what kind of a move are we expecting? We'll take a look at it. But last week, again, giving a strong bearish move, breaking through an area of support on the weekly. Let's look at what's happened on the daily through the last week. So this range is what we've seen in the last week. Last daily, that is Friday, giving us an evidence of a bullish move. That means we can expect price to go up, reject within this range here again today, and then price between today and tomorrow, and then price gives us a bearish move towards the downside later this week. Now, how far do we move down this week? Can't say. I don't expect it to just directly start dripping down. We still have a decent amount of support in this region. So first we need to break below 1904 to continue the move down. As we see on the left hand side on the daily, it is an interesting support. So that is going to be the first target for this week. Going back into the weekly and taking a look at it. So price, where the bodies are right now, there is a support there. The price has taken support at this point in time. Historical area of support. Okay, what's the next level that we can expect? This is going to be the next area that we can expect. That is 1903, which is coinciding with the area of support we're seeing on the daily. So historical area of resistance, turning support now. So let us look at daily once again. So 1903.108, that is the area. Price has taken support on the daily while moving up. So weekly area is giving us that evidence that this is where we can expect price to move into, take an area of rejection there, and then coming back up right there. And then another area of support is coming up within that range there. Price on its way down has taken resistance at that level, price taking support within that range. So this is another area that we're expecting price to take support based on the weekly. Let's mark these out as our weekly support. And daily, there we are. That range there, forming area of support on the daily as well. So clean move towards the downside until we reach 1889. So currently price goes up, next one continues down, takes support again, bounces back up. If we have enough high impact news, that can break it down, right? News wise, what do we have? Let's take a quick look at that. So weekly news, we have USD Fed Manufacturing Index, medium news, goods order, durable goods, okay. Decent impact news, new home sales, perfect. Good trades balance, Powell's speech on Wednesday. And Thursday we have jobless claims, continuous jobless claims, GDP. So we have an impactful week, right? We have PCE core price again on Friday. That ends the month. So this is going to be an interesting month, right? Interesting end of month, or interesting last week. So it has to be extremely carefully traded. So what do we expect is based on these news? Current targets, a current expectation is economically, overall sentiments have been settling a little bit. Worries about recession have not completely gone away. That means we can expect, looking at the news, for there to be some mixed newses coming up. Let's look at what's the most recent news coming up. So we have Monday, nothing very high impact. Tuesday, we have Canadian newses. People have been saying Canadian newses are impacting gold. So that's another thing to watch out for. So there's not enough indication for me to consider that. Historically, that hasn't been the case. If that's something that that gold has started to adapt, then we have to consider that factor and look at it more closely. So yeah, just keep an eye out on the Canadian news. We have durable goods. Let's take a quick look at that. Has been good for the dollar past couple times. So this time around, they're expecting it to be negative again, just like the previous one. So we can expect it to be positive. However, if you look at the previous two newses, it's been 3.2% going down to 1.1%, and now they're still expecting -1, which means this has durable goods orders have definitely been going down, which is not good for the dollar. Could have a negative impact. Let's look at defense. Again, same thing. Previous was negative, 3.5% to 0.6%, going further down. So even though it was higher than expected, it is still quite lower than the previous news, so it would still have a significant impact. This time around, they're expecting that to be 0.5%. They're expecting it to go up. Will it meet expectations? Maybe. We'll see what happens. Currently expecting this news to be negative, which could still send gold back up. So let's look at this one here. Has been negative. So all in all, this specific day we have 1, 2, 3 news and then new home sales. So for Tuesday, positive news. We can expect an overall negative overview at this point in time. New home sales again going negative in the previous time, 0.656. Actual 683. Actually, it was positive. So 683. Expected is 6.67 0.67 million. So they're expecting it to drop. Let's see, higher than expected should be good for the dollar. Overall, all across all news is higher chance of it being negative or neutral. So overall day could be neutral. So let's see how Tuesday looks at it. So current bias is Tuesday could be bullish for gold and bearish for most USD pairs. Looking at Wednesday, we have good trades balance. A good trades balance, we are expecting it to be negative. Previously, it was negative. Right this time around, they're expecting it to still get a little bit better, a bit worse actually. So they're still expecting it to be -91. It was -96. So yeah, we have to see what happens. So another review giving us this week that it could be negative. Then we have Powell's speech. So Wednesday again expecting gold to be bullish at this point in time. Then we have initial jobless claims, which is been negative for the past 3 times, so we can expect the same out of that right now. Jobless claims for week average was negative last time, same bias. Continuous jobless claims getting a little bit better. So if we look at the data, it's still not better than previous, still worse than previous, which is not a good sign. That means jobless claims are still there, even though they're dropping. Well, actually, yeah. it's actually good because it's gone down than what was previous, so that's actually good. So we've lost it by 3K, which is actually much better. So overall, jobless claims, we can expect price to be neutral. PCE was neutral. This time around was positive, so good for the dollar. Personal income, neutral, as expected. This is definitely not going to be hugely important, but this is also positive. So all in all, Friday coming in to be positive. So if you look at overall news structure for this week, it seems to be mostly negative news, historically speaking. So we can, going by history and going by the numbers, there's not major improvement. So if you're expecting that it's going to majorly improve at this point in time, that doesn't seem to be that likely at this moment in time, at least to me. So I would consider that I would consider trading very cautiously. Right now, my bias is we could see a little bit of a bullish move, maybe a range. So we could be trapped within a range. So let's pull out our charts again and let's look at the charts. So based on the charts, let's look at the weekly. And if you look at the weekly on the left hand side, there's still this range here where we could potentially see a range through the week. So we could close week bullish for the current week, with price rejecting in this range or within this range. And if you were to pull it, if you're saying market has to continue further down, it has to first drop below that area there, close below that region there. So let's mark that area there. So based on the weekly needs to close below this area here for us to consider that it's going to keep driving further down. And based on the daily, if you look at it, we need daily closure below 1920 up until 1890. So we need 1890 for the actual close for price to drop further down. Current daily expectation is it's going to drive up, fill the wick, close bullish right there. The next day could try and challenge it to the top right there and then drop back down. So let's see what works out. But overall bias for gold is a bullish or weak bullish move. So this is going to be the first area that on the bullish move for us to expect or look for rejection. And this will be our second area. So and then we'll adjust this based on the daily. Let's go into the daily. So the daily is still, is there a potential for us to drive back into that range there? We know that there is a small gap there on the daily as well as on the 4 hour, 1 hour, a small gap in that situation. Are we going for that gap fill as well, along with the wick fill? Possible, but again, very, very risky. So we have to be very cautious when trading those zones. Strong area of resistance on the daily and on the weekly in that region there. So we want to be trading extremely, extremely carefully. Okay. So historical area of support right there on the weekly, which currently will be acting as resistance on the daily. So that is going to be the expectation, that price goes up, tries to close above, but is unable to, and continues its drop further down. So this week, let's see what the market does. Okay. For price to break above, as expected, market has a structure right there. So we need to break above 1971 for us to say that price is going to continue driving further up. Where if price is able to drive above 1972, The next target is going to be 2017. We could still face an area of rejection at 1982. However, break above that. So first target is going to be 1972. This area here. And this is going to be the next area. And then right there. Right there. So this would be my current expectation is this is how far price can go if it breaks above this level. At this point, there's no indication that price will break above that level. Even though the week is filled with news, there is no news that I would consider is strong enough to just break through above. We're not seeing substantial number changes, positive or negative. So we cannot expect that price is just going to simply drive up or just melt all the way down. It's going to be a game of patience. So let's see. Okay. So that is the expectation on gold for the week. Let's see how the market ends up reacting into this situation. Taking a quick look at GJ. So GJ, I was expecting price to give us an indication of sell within this range. And as we can see, we rejected right at that level. And now price is struggling to close above. Currently, just looking at the daily candle, we can expect this to be an indication of a sell on GJ. So no bottom wick right now as price continues to drive further up. And so it is a waiting game, but it's definitely an expectation for price to give us a move towards the downside. So just considering that, this is still a good area for sells. Look for a good retest. Price breaks above, it's going to continue down. However, we can still consider that wick fill there before. So if price has to drive down, again, it's not the best signal yet, but on the daily, it's still a good area. This was the area that I was expecting for a rejection. We've seen that rejection, price going up for a retest, which expecting a failure will continue to drive further down and fill the wick, which means that we could be seeing a bearish movement through the day today. Weekly expectation. Weekly is also in a way giving us a sell signal. Now it's just, this is the retest of that sell signal. If the retest fails and price breaks up above the previous top wick, we can still expect price to drive further up. However, with no current bottom wick, we cannot expect price to just continue dropping further down. Let's look at the left-hand side. Left-hand side, weekly still has a range that we can climb further up. So a deep dive towards the downside on an expectation that GJ is going to melt all the way down is still not valid. If you look at it on the daily perspective, this is the current daily. So the current daily, this is the area of rejection that we were expecting, and price has currently tapped within that range, trying to go for a retest. So just considering that, we could possibly see a small sell, not necessarily a big drop. But again, we have to see what ends up happening through the week. But that is my current expectation on GJ. Okay. And So let's see how GJ works out. Let's look at JPY basket. So JPY continues to drop further down. Current weekly candle could be an expectation for a move towards the buy. Now, if price has to drive further up, this is going to be the expectation that price takes rejection in this area, and then we could see it continue to further drop down. So just considering that, we do have news on JPY this week. So consumer confidence, daily also giving us an indication for a possible push up. So just like this small push up doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to keep driving up. So we just have to wait and see what price does. Again, rejection in this area is expected. Price will try to challenge 70.52 or close to that. And that means on most JPY pairs, we could see a small drop. So that is the expectation currently on GJ is we could be looking for possible sells for the day, with the current daily target being final target being 181.221. Second target, well, you could be looking at three sets of targets. Your first target would be 181.751, an expectation of price taking support and there's pushing up. Second target would be 181.183, and then 180.755 could be the final target for the day. If price decides to come further down there, we can still expect price to get pushed up. So the next daily can definitely take support in that range and continue to drive further up. So I'll be extremely cautious. This is still a dangerous range. We are seeing that the expectation of price being stuck in a bullish move. So for it to drive further up is still possible. Okay, so that is the expectation on GJ. Let's look at CHF-JPY. This has been a really favorite pair. So we took a few trades there and then got hit at BE. Let's look at the weekly expectation. Take off that trade there. So I believe CHF-JPY, we are on the weekly high. We have not gone back down to create that retest. So if JPY, we are expecting it to JPY to start pushing up, then we can expect CHF-JPY also to give us the move down, possibly take support in this range before trying to make an effort to go further up. Momentum shift on JPY has still not happened, so that's why buying still continues on most JPY pairs, which is kind of a dangerous spot, because if price is constantly moving up aggressively, we could see an aggressive drop as well. So you just want to be extremely cautious when taking the trades on any of the JPY pairs at this point in time. So current weekly assessment is previous weekly has climbed 2 weekly candles driving up. Now again on the weekly, what's the situation on the monthly? The current monthly is strong bullish, and we can expect we still haven't seen price come back down within this range 148 and take support to keep pushing up. It's just kept driving up. This is again another dangerous spot. This is what we want to see, is this current monthly could still end strong bullish. Next monthly could start to see some form of recovery. I would love to see for price to go down and then buying to start continuing again. Now that is the current expectation. Can I expect price to drive down further here? Well, right now, maybe, right? Even this is possible, but immediate term, this is going to be the first target. That breaks, there's another area there, 141.88. That breaks, and then we can expect price to dip into the 132 level and then into the 125. This is what the monthly is giving us. So if you're trying to short on any JPY pairs, you need to be very careful and be very cautious in taking any of those trades. First weekly target is going to be for price to dip further down into 155.571, take support there, and then drive further up, which we haven't seen yet. So be cautious on taking those trades. So possible sells for CHF-JPY for the day. With that, we looked at a few pairs, and we look at the daily analysis during Asian session. For now, we have a good consensus on, or good expectation on gold. Again, on the daily, price driving up, max target, current focus target is 1960. We can look for a daily wick fill for the day. And then for the weekly, we can expect price to have a weak bullish candle, considering there's a lot of news that have been negative in the recent history. So if we are continuing with the expectation of that being a high probability of that being negative, then negative neutral is the expectation, which means we could see a short bullish candle there. Current daily giving us a wick fill, next daily probably starting to range within that area. So this week we could possibly range within this space here, probably breaking further down, creating this new low there, challenging there, and then jumping back up and slowly, steadily moving down. So this is the current expectation on gold. Current daily driving down through this week, probably looking at that, and then probably range ending the week in this area here. Could potentially drive up before we drive down. So we definitely need a news push, and then we'll keep on seeing this. Unless we have a news to break through these two areas of weekly support. So let's see how everything works out. Trade extremely cautiously, look at key levels. Don't try to trade aggressive. Don't try to take aggressive entries. Be extremely cautious in these trades. We do have the news coming in from the Russian side. How big of an impact is that going to have? We don't know yet. Is it a good sign? Is it a bad sign? Well, it's kind of a mixed sign. There is no direct valuation that we can consider, so we have to be very, very patient and cautious. So we'll take a look at it through the week as as the markets move and give us a structural evidence of what it is trying to do. With that, I wish everybody best of luck for the week. I will see you guys every day through the week during Asian, and we'll try to keep it profitable as we've been for the past few weeks. So safe trade and keep hipping.